question I couldn't hear, but you want to get the specifics. So what happened in July to cause that voiding?
I'm not going to get into specifics of that. There was a number of things from July that, to me, is more of a business side, dealing with lawyers and stuff and contracts and stuff that is really not my area of expertise.
This is a guy, obviously, the team felt, and you felt good enough to give a very large contract not very long ago. Is there disappointment that it's gotten to this with Brandon and the 49ers?
Yeah, of course. I've been coaching over 20 years, and I've never been in a situation where a contract's been voided, so it was extremely unusual to me.
And personally, I mean, I imagine you were very in support of him getting a new contract. We know how weird that negotiation was, but do you feel let down by the situation?
Yeah, I'm not really there yet. Like, I know everyone got a lot of information yesterday. That was information that I found out in July and kind of dealt with it then. And to me, the contract stuff and guarantees and things like that is really, it's irrelevant to my relationship with the player and my relationship with our team and what we're trying to do this year. I know I went through that stuff and talked to him a lot about it back in July. But since July, it's been all about this season and hoping he would get healthy, and he's been working to get healthy. And
Yo, YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy, man, back at y'all with another video. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already done that. Helps the channel out very much. And if you do so, I'll greatly appreciate it. Now, the topic of discussion today, man, is going to be a little strange. So I've just been online, and I've just been reading reports, man. San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk has decided to turn down $27 million from the San Francisco 49ers. So reports have been coming out saying that Brandon Aiyuk, ever since he got hurt, ever since he signed the contract with the 49ers, and you guys kind of, if you guys didn't already know, for the 49ers to even sign Brandon Aiyuk to this, I believe it was, 4 years, $120 million contract extension, or however much he got signed for. It was a battle. Even Brandon Aiyuk himself admitted that he made the process a lot harder than it needed to be.
I'm not gonna lie, I made it a little bit more difficult than it needed to at the end.
Brandon Aiyuk, he was pulling a lot of shenanigans, man, when it came to this contract dispute between him and the 49ers, like calling Jaden Daniels before Jaden Daniels even got drafted. Now, if you guys,
they said they don't want me back. I swear.
If you guys didn't already know, Jaden Daniels and Brandon Aiyuk played at the same college at ASU, Arizona State University, and he was just basically trying to get Jaden Daniels to recruit him or something. I don't know, man, what was going on, but long story short, though, the 49ers did, however, try to trade Brandon Aiyuk to the Steelers, during this contract dispute, but he declined he declined the trade, and he decided he wanted to stay with San Francisco. Mind you, the deal was already on the table. But he told the 49ers that he wanted them to stop the trade, and he wanted to return and be a 49er for the long term. Around this same time, he was drawing interest from teams like the Panthers, and he was also drawing interest from the Cleveland Browns, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe he was also drawing interest from the New England Patriots at the time, who was desperate in the market for a premium number one wide receiver. But with all that being said, man, he ends up signing the contract. 7 games into the contract, he tears his ACL, and the rest was history, man. So here we are. Reports are coming out saying that Brandon Aiyuk has not been showing up to meetings. He hasn't been rehabbing at the facilities or anything like that. And the San Francisco 49ers did put a clause in his contract saying that all his money would be a guarantee if he shows up to mini camps, if he shows up to meetings and all of that stuff as mandatory, as mandated by the team. And he has not been doing any of these things, man. So the so the 49ers decided to just void his contract entirely, and Brandon Aiyuk, however, did have an opportunity to fight this. You know what I'm saying? But he decided not to, and he decided to allow the 49ers to void his contract. And I'm guessing that he's going to hit the free agency market in 2026, only playing 7 games. You know what I mean? So it's a strange situation, man. I have no idea what's going on behind the scenes with Brandon Aiyuk and the San Francisco 49ers, but it obviously can't be a good thing if he's just walking away from this type of bag, man. $27 million, man, is a lot of money, especially for a guy in Brandon Aiyuk who is just now signing a major extension. You know what I mean? He was on his rookie extension for the longest. Now he's just now signing a contract with the 49ers, and he really doesn't care about the guarantees. It seems like he just wants out. If you guys could remember when the 49ers made it to the Super Bowl, Brandon Aiyuk caught 3 passes. I forget how many yards he had, but he was very, very upset with the 49ers and Brock Purdy for not targeting him enough in the Super Bowl.
Brandon, what are you going to remember most about this particular roster this past season?
Just guys that came in to work to be champions every single day.
Brandon, is this the hardest postseason loss you have experienced?
That's all I got.
Thanks, Brandon.
And he felt as though that had a reason. That was one of the reasons why the San Francisco 49ers weren't able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs that year. And it seems like ever since then, the 49ers relationship with Brandon Aiyuk has soured. You know what I mean? It's I think it's at a place right now of no return. Now, for me, if I'm Brandon Aiyuk in this situation, man, like I said, I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. But if I was him, I probably would have just took the money and just kept rehabbing and got my $48 million for playing my 7 games. But it seems like Brandon Aiyuk does not want to be there for whatever reason, which is very odd to me because Brandon Aiyuk had an opportunity to get traded at some point. You know, even during the contract dispute, he had an opportunity to get traded to a different team at some point. And all of those other teams that's not named the San Francisco 49ers were willing to pay him way more money than $27 million. Like, I believe the New England Patriots were offering him $30 million a year. Is Brandon Aiyuk worth $30 million a year? I don't think so. But if you're the New England Patriots and you're desperate for a wide receiver number 1, I could see why that could be your end game, especially when you're a team that has money to spend. So if you, Brandon Aiyuk, begged Kyle Shanahan and begged the front office not to trade you to the Steelers, you know what I mean, at the time when you guys were having this face-off about this damn contract, now a year removed or whatever the case may be from this contract extension, mind you, Brandon Aiyuk has yet to play a single down this year because he's still rehabbing, but just for you to turn around and to want out and to lose all that money, it just makes no sense to me. I just don't understand what the game plan is, man. I want to know who this dude's agent is because none of this is making any sense, man. This just seems like a guy that doesn't really know what he wants for real. I don't understand what the hell is going on in Brandon Aiyuk's head to where he would walk away from this type of bag, man. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Normal wide receivers would have just took the trade. You could have took the trade and got paid way more. So now, what is Brandon Aiyuk's future looking like? Okay, so he's already he's already established the reputation of being a diva wide receiver, and he's already established the reputation of being hard to work with when it comes to contract negotiations. And I feel like these are things that owners and GMs and teams really look at. You know what I mean? Not to mention that he's kind of injury prone at this point. You know what I mean? Brandon Aiyuk just tore his ACL. I'm not saying that that's a career ender, because in this day and age with the technology and the medical stuff that we got nowadays, it's not impossible for you to have a great and successful NFL career after an ACL injury. You know what I mean? So, and I think that Brandon Aiyuk, he's very, very talented. He's a very, very talented wide receiver. So I do feel as though there's going to be an NFL team out there that's going to be willing to give him another opportunity to, play football again. So he'll get another chance. It's just when he do get this chance, he's probably looking at a prove it deal, maybe like a $10 million to $14 million deal. So he's essentially losing a lot of money making this move, man. And I don't know, maybe Brandon Aiyuk knows something that I don't know, but for his sake, man, when he does hit the free agency market in 2026 or whatever the case may be, man, hopefully he finds a team that can use his strengths and his abilities the right way and maximize his talent. That way he can, in the future or after 2026, he can, qualify for a big payday, man. But right now, man, for Brandon Aiyuk, man, the situation is not looking good, man. This is looking like one of the biggest fumbles of all time, because realistically speaking, bruh, you could have just rehabbed with the 49ers, stayed with the 49ers, and you would have just been getting paid just to rehab. But now we're looking at a situation where Brandon Aiyuk could potentially be looking at signing with another team, and who knows how that's going to go. You know what I mean? Like, how many teams out there can Brandon Aiyuk is realistically going to be interested in an injury? Is a injured Brandon Aiyuk? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe the Steelers maybe spin the block on that. Maybe the Patriots spin the block on that. But even though they don't really need to, because Drake May is making it work with what he got. But you can never have too many weapons. Maybe the Buffalo Bills take a swing at Brandon Aiyuk. You know what I'm saying? Who knows at this point? Because Josh Allen needs a lot of help. So there's a bunch of different ways that this situation can go, man. But I don't know, man. I just feel like maybe when Brandon Aiyuk wanted to get traded, at the time, the teams that were interested in him, he wasn't really interested in, Maybe besides the 49ers, I said the 49ers, maybe besides the Steelers, because he has a relationship with Mike Tomlin, or the Washington Commanders because he has a relationship with Jaden Daniels. But other than that, man, I really don't see any other scenario in which Brandon Aiyuk gets picked up, man. But we'll see. You know what I mean? The Commanders, like I just said, could be a good landing spot for him. Terry McLaurin's always hurt. They got Deebo Samuel over there who's kind of past his prime. So maybe that's a good fit for Aiyuk, man. But like I said before, man, this is one of the biggest fumbles, man, of a bag that I've seen in a long time. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much all I have to say on this topic. Brandon Aiyuk, I wish you nothing but the best, brother. Hopefully, whatever diabolical plan you formulated in your head, hopefully it works out for you, man. But other than that, man, y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? And y'all let me know how y'all feel about this Brandon Aiyuk situation with the 49ers, man. It's a very, very strange situation. It's something that I haven't seen in quite some time, man. You know what I mean? The last time I seen something like this was when the Denver Broncos decided to cut ties with Russell Wilson, and they took the biggest dead cap hit in NFL history. That was the last time I've ever seen something like this happen, man. But y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel about the Brandon Aiyuk situation, man. I'm out. Peace. And I'm going to get up with y'all in the next video.